What's going on, everyone? Back for another KBO video. Hopefully you guys all had a great weekend. Had a day off from KBO. Looking to keep it going. Last week was pretty solid for KBO on DraftKings. So hopefully this week can be just as nice. Before we get started, appreciate if you hit the like on the video and subscribe if you have not already. Let's see if we can get 100 likes on the video. That would be much appreciated. Uh, got everything broken down for the guys I want to target. So let's get started here. If you want to follow on Twitter, it's at the DFS Process. You can check out the website if you want. Links in description. So first thing, we have the odds posted. Usually they're not posted by the time I make the video, but we got them posted today. So we have the odds as well as the over-unders. So as you see, highest over-under belongs to the Lodi Giants, 5.5. I do agree with that. They're facing a pretty poor pitcher. Definitely the worst on the slate. And then I'd say another team that I like a lot is Kim Moon Heroes at 4.5 also runs. They're the two teams I love the most. And then I would also mix in some Twins and some KT Wiz. So those are the four teams I have my most interest in. It's the KT Wiz, the Twins, the Lodi Giants, and the Heroes. Now, as far as pitchers to target today, as we see, we have a decent amount of good pitchers at the top with Mike Wright and Choi. So far, Choi has looked great. He's been pretty solid over the last 3 years, which is nice. He doesn't give up very much power at all. 5 home runs last year, 8 the year before that. So far, he's been good. He's actually increased his strikeout rate through the first 2 starts, and he does pitch pretty deep into the game. As you see, last year he had 18 of his 27 starts were quality starts, which is nice, especially on FanDuel. So you get that extra bonus there. Mike Wright also looks pretty good. Only problem is that he's facing a tough matchup, and he can have some home run issues. So if he does give up some long balls to guys like, there's plenty of power on this team as we've seen with J.O., Fernandez, Kim. So I think he's a little bit scarier. I probably would just go $500 more and play Choi today. Worst case, Choi and Wright finish with the same score. I say best case, Choi does much better. And his matchup is much easier. SK has looked terrible. They have the lowest total on the slate. And Choi, it seems like a pretty safe play with some upside as well because he does tend to pitch deep even if he's not great with the strikeouts. And then the second pitcher that I like a lot is Cuevas, 7,500, facing off against a very bad offensive Hanawa Eagles team. Cuevas looks like a great play today because the thing that he struggles with the most is the home runs, and last year he gave up 18 home runs. But the problem is, the good thing for him is that the Eagles have basically no power on the team. They are very lack of power through that order, as you can just take a look for yourself if you want. And I believe their power hitter is still out. Their Hoying is out, so this lineup has like no power at all. Besides Sung Yeo Lee, that's cleanup. But I do like him. I like his price tag. And unlike a lot of these pitchers, he does not struggle with walks. A lot of these pitchers give up a ton of walks, and that makes them pitch only 4.5, 5 innings. But he only has 2 walks so far. Even last year, he didn't struggle with walks. So he's a guy that can pitch deep into the game. Decent strikeout stuff, and the matchup is great. So those are the 2 pitchers that I feel great about today. If you want, I would also consider Mike Wright. Don't think I would probably go with Lee just because he doesn't have much strikeout stuff. But definitely, I could play Wright if you want for tournaments. And then maybe if you want to take a cheap shot on Lim, if you want, 6,900 facing off against a Samson team, could play him. But I feel pretty confident about these 2 pitchers. And like I mentioned, the stacks that I love the most: KT Wiz, LG, Lodi Giants, and the Heroes. At first base, we got a very cheap option today, and that's Roberto Ramos. Continues to be underpriced on DraftKings massively. He's looked excellent. Best hitter on the team right now. 4 home runs so far, batting almost 400. Bats right in the heart of the lineup. Nice lefty-righty matchup here. David Buchanan did look good in his last start, but he did struggle in his first start, and last start he was pretty surprising with the strikeouts. He got a lot of swings and misses. But if you look back at his career, even when he was with the Phillies and in the big league, and even in the minor leagues, his strikeout rates were some of the lowest ever. So he just doesn't strike very many guys out. I think last game was more of a fluke. And Ramos is a guy that if he's not really swinging and missing, he's gonna put the ball in play, and he can hit it a long way. So 3,100 for a guy with that much power is just incredibly cheap. At shortstop, I like Kim here from the Heroes. He finally got it going a bit last game with 3 hits. Ha-Seong Kim, he's gotten off to a terrible, terrible start, but he is one of the best hitters on the Heroes over the last couple years, and he still has plenty of upside, and it's not like he's aging. He's a young kid who should continue to build off of his last couple years. So last year, hit almost 20 home runs, 19 bombs, with plenty of stolen base upside. So that's what I like to see. Only has 1 stolen base this year because he's not really getting on base. But if he gets on base, he's going to take off, and he also has the power. That power speed combo can be so deadly for fantasy points, and I think that it's a great spot today. So, shortstop, especially with some of the value we have at some of the other positions, I feel pretty good about paying up. In the outfield, the 2 guys I like a lot are from the Loaded Giant side, and it's going to start off with Juwan Jian here. He is just very affordable at 4,300. He has tremendous power from the Loaded Giants, one of the best power hitters. The Giants have looked pretty good this year. Their offense has some nice hitters. He's definitely one of them. He bats second in the batting order, which is nice. Plenty of power, plenty of upside in terms of getting on base. Average last year, 22 home runs. Year before that, 33. A little bit of speed, not a ton. But DraftKings at only 4,300. Looking like a guy that I would want. And then the other guy is Asiop Son at only 3,400. He's another guy, another very good hitter on the team. Also has power. Also hits for a high average. A nice 2-3 stack of these 2 guys I think looks great. So they are just too cheap, in my opinion, for the upside that both possess in a very, very good spot against a pitcher who has been a reliever before this year, and he hasn't been very good with his ERA. I want to take a look at that. So far as 5.91 ERA, last year 5.43, year before that 7.17. These were in relief appearances. He started a few games last year, but mainly he's been a reliever. He is okay with the strikeouts, but he gives up a good amount of walks, which kind of limits his ability to go deep into the game. And also the strikeout stuff should go down because when you're a reliever, you can easily get more strikeouts, only pitching 1 or 2 innings, but 5-6 innings as a starter, everybody's strikeouts go down. So these are the guys I like for DraftKings. For FanDuel here, pitcher, Cuevas looks good if you want to go with him. Wright is the most expensive guy. I think maybe Kim Moon, you could play him $25 against SK. Right now, KT looks good just based on the rest of my lineup. If I do want to get up to Kim Moon guy, I could definitely do that. But I do like Cuevas for everything that I mentioned, facing off against a very offensively challenged team, especially in terms of power. I think it's a spot that he could go very deep into the game. So I don't think he'll have very many trouble giving up home runs or anything like that. So got Tim down as my pitcher, and then for the stacks, it's pretty much the same guys that I mentioned on DraftKings. There's 4 teams that I like the most of. Starting with Ha-Seong Kim, continues to be cheap on FanDuel, $12 due to his slow start. But assuming he picks it up, he's going to be a $15, $16 player very soon. So we're getting a nice savings on him. And then I still like Juwa Jian, $14. Just for all the same reasons I mentioned on DraftKings. I think the Loaded Giants are the best stack today. And then I go with the other guy that I also had on DraftKings, Asiop Son. It was $13, a little bit more expensive on FanDuel, but easily affordable and easy to make that work. So these are the 4 guys I like most on FanDuel. And these are the 6 I like on DraftKings for now. Any updates, I'll let you guys know on Twitter. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, and see you all next time.